Some people say pronouns are confusing. We should get rid of them, and I agree. No more he, she, they, it, you, I, me, them. All of it. Gone. Nouns, also confusing. Gone. Verbs, do I look like I take actions? Do I look like I know how to act? No. Verbs, gone. Adjectives, what am I? A poet? Do I need to describe things? Gone. You know what? While we're at it, no more language. Don't talk to me.
Dramatically acting out comments left by men, Part 10.
Listen up, mustache. Men won't commit because they could lose it in divorce because a woman woke up on the wrong side of bed one day. Go live in the mountains and talk to horses and don't bother anybody. You have the personality of a dead moth. No. It means that this particular woman has given up meaningful relationships and has settled for the cats. Lonesome and alone comes in both sexes. Some women deserve to be ignored and not be chosen by a man. They're cheating and lying. Ways never go away. Call it what you want. Stop being bitter.
I need feminism because I intend on marrying rich, and I can't do that if my wife and I are making 75 cents for every dollar a man makes. When women wear makeup, they're basically lying to us. I don't see why I'm being blamed for a man stupid enough to think I have gold eyelids. A man once got mad because my ma asked me for a tampon in Punjabi and demanded we speak English, so my ma asked him if he had a tampon and he ran away. Fathers, you can't dress men, they only want one thing. Uncles, boys are trying to play you. Cousins, you better not be dating those boys. Brothers, they just want to get inside your pants. Girls, men are trash. Men, collective gasp. How could you say that? I only hang out with guys because they never start drama. Please read a history textbook. Bisexual women disclose their orientation. Straight men with barely enough sexual stamina for one woman. I love threesomes. Some female squids wear fake testicles to avoid the advancements of male squids. This is what we call innovation.
Hey, Eden. Yeah, I was just listening to you say some really Christian-y things that I don't agree with. And I don't like to feel discomfort, so that feeling tells me that I need to come over to you and tell you what you need to do. And so my atheist friends and I, we really fell in love with this book written by this man named Mike. And we know you don't know him personally, and we've never met him, but we just love and absolutely agree with every rule that he says and how you should live your life. And we know that's how you should live your life too. So what he says is that if someone says something or does something that is not in the book, they need to apologize and take it back or else. So do you want to take it back now, or do you want to come with us to our gathering on Friday and do it in front of all of us? That would really make us feel better.
Can you touch on how men should react to lesbians? Sure. Here, watch this. That right there was a skit where I walked in a room where there were two lesbians. Did you see how I gave no reaction? Number one, I didn't gawk at them and make a spectacle out of it. And number two, I didn't look at them judgmentally and disdainfully like a hateful grandpa. Did you see how in that skit I just walked through the room like there were just a bunch of normal people? Because there were. Now I do want to touch on this. Historically, men have hypersexualized lesbians. Why? Bro, I guarantee you a lesbian is not gonna turn straight for you and your horniness. Let go of that weird X-rated fantasy. Now let's talk about the LGBTQ community as a whole. Why does it matter at all? I don't see why anybody should have a reaction at all to somebody else's sexuality or preference. That's being way too invested in somebody else's life. Mind your own business. I'm a firm believer in if it ain't got shit to do with me, then let it be.
Literally, you look like a woman in a lot of these pictures that I'm seeing. Guys, all of these filters.
Can we please stop using women as an insult? They're human beings as well.
No. That's me if I gave a fuck. But girl, which flag? The one that says human rights or the one that says human rights?
Wrong. You could be killing a future doctor.
You know, by that logic, we probably stopped a couple of terrorists.
You horrible, disgusting individual. Who the fuck chugs coffee creamer?
Fuck Biden. Trump 2024. Fuck Trump. Biden 2024. Cover my steaming crawdads. I think you're right, Clint. Hold your horses for a second now, Rick. Fuck Trump. Biden 2024. Oh, what? Like they don't like neither of them? What if the secret's in the colors? Like, fuck Trump. Biden 2024. Oh, like they want them to be on the same team. That's nice. It's like they stubbed their toe before saying who they rooting for. I kind of like that. It's kind of nice.
Abortion is wrong. You could be killing a future doctor.
You know, by that logic, we probably stopped a couple of terrorists, too.
You are booing me because I am right.
Warning. The following are real, uncensored statements from Republicans about rape and reproductive rights. Viewer discretion is advised. Rape is kinda like the weather. If it's inevitable, relax and enjoy it. Clayton Williams. If it's a legitimate rape, the female body has ways to try and shut that whole thing down. Todd Aiken. Rape victims should make the best of a bad situation.
Accept what God is giving to you.
Rick Santorum. Even when life begins in that horrible situation of rape, it is something that God intended to happen. Richard Murdoch. In the emergency room, they have what's called rape kits, where a woman can get cleaned out. Jody Laubenberg. If not for rape and incest, would there be any population left? Steve King. She was dressed like a 21-year-old prostitute. Students should show up in proper attire. Kathleen Pasadomo said this about an 11-year-old girl gang raped in Texas by 18 men. If a woman has the right to an abortion, why shouldn't a man be able to use his superior strength to force himself on a woman? At least the rapist's pursuit of sexual freedom doesn't in most cases result in anyone's death. Lawrence Lockman. What is the value of that life, and is it subordinate to the value of its host body? Jose Oliva. This is the Republican Party. Never forget. Vote them out.
In 10 seconds, I'll prove to you that the gender pay gap does not exist. The reason why men make more is because they choose higher paying jobs, like lawyer, doctor, engineer. But women choose lower paying jobs like female lawyer, female doctor, female engineer.
I want to start a new series on my TikTok where I correct painfully unfunny conservative memes. This one has a picture of Joe Biden and Big Bird. It says, one of these is a puppet, the other is just a man in a suit. I can tell whoever made this meme thought they were being very clever by using this very tired, very old joke structure. But ultimately, the way it's structured, the way it's worded, and the pictures they use leave it open to more interpretations than would make for an effective joke. It's clear that whoever made this meme sees Joe Biden as the puppet and Big Bird as the man in the suit. But when I first saw it, what I thought was that they were being literal, that Joe Biden is just a man in a suit, because look at him, he is a man wearing a suit. And then Big Bird is a literal puppet. Or maybe you're a Trumpster who's willing to suspend their disbelief for a little bit. Both of them could be puppets. Or maybe you're someone who's a little dead inside, and both of them are just men wearing different kinds of suits. So here's how I would correct it to make it more effective. One of these is a puppet, and the puppet can't get a prescription for Cialis, so he lashes out at Big Bird on the internet. Now, is that a good joke? No, it's still awful. Is it a better joke? Yes.
If I were talking about two robots, I'd use a plural pronoun, like Meet Moby and Orbot. They are my best friends. Actually, yeah, they can be used as a singular pronoun too. Like if you said, I'm going to see my friend, I could ask, where do they live? Since I don't know your friend's gender identity. And some individuals prefer they as a pronoun. Like Meet Orbot. They are my best friend.
Thank you so much for this comment. The answer is actually no. But, thank you for your concern, though.
I do find it weird that J.K. Rowling, of all people, is concerned that trans people are in the wrong bathroom. Because so much of Harry Potter takes place in bathrooms that people are not supposed to be in. Okay, like, JK, it's fine if it's a cis boy wizard in the second floor girls' lavatory. That's fine, but not trans people. Just be consistent, Joanne. That's all I'm saying. Oh, my God.
Where's the cheese?
It's under the sauce.
There's no cheese on it.
It's under the sauce.
Like, I'm Italian and this is hurting me.
It's from Chicago.
But it's just sauce.
The cheese is under the sauce.
That's not enough cheese.
Cheese is under the.
When I found out it, people used to eat black people as a delicacy.
Y'all already know when I want to talk about something important, I just hop out the bed and start recording. So excuse the bonnet. But if you want to learn a little bit more about the real U.S. history, then please stay. As an ethnic studies major and somebody who learns about African American studies daily, here is some more information I don't think you should have to pay thousands of dollars in college tuition to know. Do you know about the Tulsa Race Massacre? I was literally in college when I first heard those words, and yet it is such a major massacre that nobody talks about in U.S. history. If you don't know, within one day, a white mob stormed the city of Tulsa, Oklahoma, which was one of the most affluent black communities, burning this city to the ground. They literally had airplanes dropping bombs from the sky. This community was devastated, and yet its history is not really known. Why is this? Well, it has to be for the same reason that white families, I'm not even saying historically because this is not long ago, used to literally attend what they called picnics or carnivals to literally watch the festivities being a black person being lynched. Proof of this is available on Google because they would take pictures as families in front of this lynched man for postcards that were supposed to be seen later. If Christopher Columbus was the man he was and George Washington walked around with slaves' teeth in his mouth, I don't see how any of this is hard to believe. The one problem that I have when learning ethnic studies or any sort of history is the fact that it's always taught from a standpoint where white cultures did the things they did because they were fearful. Fearful of what exactly? The black community, the Hispanic community, the Asian community, the Muslim community, the Native Indian community have all dealt with fear revolving around one thing, and that is white privilege and or white fear. Minority groups as a whole have had to historically fear white privilege because it is a dominant form of discrimination that does not make it easier to be a white person, but inherently makes it harder to be a person from a minority group. We have no privilege that makes it easier to live through poverty. We have no privilege that allows us to bend the laws and get off on certain cases. Historically, we have not been able to commit mass genocide or enslave people. And yet it's all put on us as being barbaric or feared. The fear is not of us. And it has taken me all the way up to college and reading through books and watching TikTok videos to see that. The fear is in losing a privilege that allows them to avoid hardships that we have faced historically. Please read about Yellow Peril, the Muslim ban, how society is taught to hate certain groups and fear certain groups of people, and then you will see they're afraid of losing power.
What you have to understand is that the LGBTQ pride flags don't exist for fun. They exist as a symbol of pride, a symbol of the fight that members of the community have gone through, and continue to go through, due to discrimination. The reason why we say the straight flag doesn't exist is because it's not a part of the LGBTQ. The LGBTQ pride community only exists because of the discrimination towards non-cis that is ever present in our culture. This is why straight is not a sexuality included in the pride lineup. We can't have a safe space for the minorities that this group is intended for if we include the oppressors. Not to mention that the straight flag was made to mock the LGBTQ pride flags because they think our flags are stupid. So no, they shouldn't be included. The pride flags are not participation trophies. They are symbolic and an important part of our community.
Hi, hopefully I can clear this one up. First off, something called a party switch happened after black people were given the right to vote because most of them lived in the South. And in the South, the prevalent party was the Democratic Party, at the time the conservative one. So when black people started attending the nearest political events, all the racist people up and switched parties, meaning there was a major demographic change. Secondly, I hate to tell you this, but if you were looking for an American institution that has been cool towards black people historically, you're not going to find one. The entirety of the Western Hemisphere has been built off of white supremacy and black suppression. And that's because to this day, America is an inherently racist country. And thirdly, the reason why black people still vote Democrat is because we live under a two-party system and the other party literally has white supremacist supporters. We are well aware that neither party holds our best interests in mind. But until we've actually got enough community organizing that electoralism doesn't matter anymore, or there's a serious push for an actual left-leaning third party, we're gonna have to stick with the Democrat.
If my kids got bad grades, they'd be in so much trouble. No video games, TV, or fun. I'm just kidding. I highly value my kids' education, but I don't think grades are the most important piece of that. I mean, there's a multitude of reasons a kid might have a bad grade. I see a bad grade as a problem that needs solving, not as a bad behavior that needs punishing. I was a straight A student growing up until I reached the 7th grade. At the time, I'd gone through a huge trauma and my home life was out of control, so my grades started to slip. By the time I started high school, my mental health was so bad that I was starting to fail. I was punished for the bad grades, which made my mental health worse, which made my grades worse. But the thing is, I didn't want to do bad in school. I was just struggling so much out of school that I couldn't make my brain work for school. My 9-year-old has been a straight A student since she started school, but last year she brought home a progress report where one of her grades had fallen to a C. I looked into it and she was missing a lot of assignments and that wasn't like her. Instead of getting mad at her for not doing the assignments, I asked her why they didn't get done. She got really upset because it turns out she was really struggling with that subject in school. She was afraid to ask for help. She's shy and she never needed help before. We talked about it together and then talked to her teacher and she got back on track. And I learned that I needed to be more proactive than reactive when it came to offering her support. If I punished her for the missing assignments and low grade, I wouldn't be contributing to her success, I'd be contributing to the problem. I think if we want our kids to succeed, we have to be on their team.
Now, as a gay man, I find this absolutely disgusting.
The fact that they are trying to force feed the gay agenda down children's throats at such a young age is absolutely despicable.
Oh my god, you can't be serious. This is honestly some of the most pick-me shit I have ever heard. Excuse me, sir, just because comics are including LGBTQ plus characters does not mean they are trying to force it onto their viewers. They just want to include diversity in their works and normalize LGBT lives. And may I ask, where was this energy when heterosexual couples were being put in comics? Throughout my whole childhood, I've been seeing things like boy loves girl, princess loves prince, male main character fights for woman. Why are people not saying, stop forcing heterosexuality onto our children? Because they see it as normal, but they don't see being in the LGBT community as normal. Which, by the way, it is. So when you show this shitty attitude when companies are trying to normalize LGBTQ plus lives, you're homophobic. Yes, even if you still identify as gay.